This is attorney Nick Thompson. Have you ever thought about debt settlement and bankruptcy? Which is better? Okay. Well, settling your debt seems easy. However, it fails about 97% of the time. This is what you're not told. Every commercial seems to be about settling your IRS or credit card debt. You've heard it for years. People tend to fear the idea of bankruptcy. These commercials make it look cheap, quick, easy, painless. Just settle the debt. The truth is, nothing could be worse than settling your debt compared to bankruptcy. This is why. Number one, if you settle your debts, you get a tax debt. I'd much rather have the credit card debt than owe the IRS money. Here's what happens. Let's say you owe the IRS, the credit card people, $10,000. When you end up filing bankruptcy and you correctly bankrupt your credit card, you have no tax debt whatsoever. But if they charge off $10,000 or they charge off $5,000 because you paid $5,000 of that credit card debt, then you owe between anywhere 10 to 40% of what was charged off as an IRS debt. They turn in what's called a 1099-C, which means that, hey, this guy didn't pay us this $10,000. Therefore, he did the same thing as make $10,000. IRS, you need to send him a tax bill, but we will take the tax deduction. That's why they send in the tiny 1099-C. First, because it's required by federal law. Second, because they get a tax deduction. Well, what's the second reason why maybe you don't want to settle your debt? You got to be prepared for your guys that you're talking to, the debt settlement people, to steal your money. They may have just gotten out of prison last week. Look at Ronnie Deutsch, look at Tax Masters, look at Ameridebt, and many, many other companies that advertised on television and radio, hey, just settle your debt with Tax Masters, Ronnie Deutsch, or Ameridebt. What happened is all of these companies filed bankruptcy themselves. They paid big dividends and big dollars to the people that owned the company. What happened? The money went to them. The company filed bankruptcy. The people lost everything that they sent into these companies. Many of the companies themselves that are doing these debt management or debt settlement operations are quite often just scams. And you get to see many of the complaints filed with the federal agencies, the consumer protection bureaus, where people had their money taken and then the company just took it and collapsed. Okay. Also, remember that these people are usually not CPAs and lawyers. They're expert salespeople. They're there to take your money and then make their profit and then close. Number three, be prepared to pay a lot more money for debt settlement than you do for bankruptcy. You file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy. Almost all of the Chapter 7 bankruptcies have nothing that's paid back to the creditors at all. You pay your $1,535, $1,735, $2,000 to file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy. Those debts are gone. They are done. You have paid all you have to pay. However, if you file a debt settlement, you have to pay back 50 cents on the dollar. If you've got $50,000 worth of credit card debt, you're paying $25,000, not $2,000. Okay, big difference there. Quite often, the people that file as a Chapter 7 bankruptcy pay little or nothing back at all. They just pay the amount that they paid to their attorney. They lose nothing whatsoever, and they go on with their life, quickly recovering from everything that happened to them. Now, also be sure that when you look at doing debt settlement, how much damage do you do to your credit compared to filing bankruptcy? You file bankruptcy? Well, when you file bankruptcy, those creditors are required to truthfully report on your credit bureau report what happened. What happened? The account closed. The account closed almost sounds like the account was paid. That is what is often put today on accounts that were closed due to a bankruptcy. It's not that you didn't pay the debt. You no longer owe it. You have a federal judge that declared that you no longer owe the debt. It was discharged at the end of the bankruptcy. And creditors have been sued for not truthfully reporting what happened to the debt. What happens if you end up settling the debt? Well, then it's reported that they had to charge off half that debt. Quite often, you are doing more damage to your credit and getting a lower FICO score by doing debt settlement than by doing your bankruptcy. And then the last thing, prepare to be a little bit poor. Okay, bankruptcy is a financial tool to increase your net wealth and credit. Okay, there are 3 different federal studies, which we cite on our website, that show that you're far more wealthy if you file bankruptcy than living through a disaster that happened to you. Okay, you're also far wealthier if you file bankruptcy than if you do debt settlement normally. Attorneys and CPAs, or attorneys that are also CPAs, help you plan your bankruptcy so you keep the maximum amount of property, you bankrupt the maximum amount of debt, and that you are far better off when you come out of bankruptcy. You get a fresh start and you can start life over again. Quite often, if you don't go through debt settlement, they're only interested in the fees that they charge. They have no expert that helps you with your tax problems. They're not licensed CPAs. They're not licensed attorneys. They sometimes just got out of prison. Okay. Don't let your emotions end up destroying your budget and your financial health. You have a much more important obligation to yourself and to your children than you do to your creditors or to making the debt settlement companies rich. Our expertise is in bankrupting and managing difficult debts like income taxes, foreclosures, student loans. If you want to learn more, download our book on our website. Look over the material on our website at bankruptcy-divorce.com or call us at 625-0905. We're happy to schedule a free appointment with you to plan and analyze exactly what you need to do in order to get yourself out of debt. This is Nick Thompson. Thank you.